Hello, everybody. My name is Ben, and welcome back to One More Month, the podcast that will end when I graduate college, which happens to be in X many days, because if you notice, we aren't in the studio. We are actually in Georgia.
Yeah.
Why are we in Georgia?
Well, you were nice enough to come to my domain because I wasn't going to be able to make it to Livingston. And you texted me about 3 days ago and said, "Hey, Nick, would you like to be on the podcast? Also, what are you and your parents doing for Thanksgiving?" And I said, "Nothing. We don't observe Thanksgiving."
I also like that you reference this as your domain, like as if you live here.
Yeah, I've never been here before either, actually.
We are currently in...
This came together great, though.
We
have a globe. Yeah. This place feels very fancy.
This globe weighs more than Nick, honestly.
We're in my father's office. I don't have anything to plug. I noticed Kirsten had a lot of things to plug at the beginning. He was like, "Listen to my podcast." And my wife writes books. I have nothing to plug, but my dad did lend us this office. So I guess I'll plug Tom Noland. He's pretty cool. If you
Tom Noland.
Yeah.
If you need a key grip ever, Tom Noland is your guy.
He'll be good at it.
He set up all of our audio equipment. If you are an audio-only listener to this episode, or if you're a video listener, video watcher, whatever you want to call it, this is probably the most well-produced episode that is not taking place in the studio.
We don't really know that yet, though, do we?
I'm having faith. If it goes down the rabbit hole, oh well.
I don't think you know that expression. That's okay.
Cares?
I won't correct you.
So,
also, I want to say one other thing. Whenever I was thinking about things I was going to say on the podcast, yesterday I was listening to you, Kirsten, on the way here, 5-hour drive.
Yes.
And I was so jealous of him because he had all of these wonderful things to say, and he was coming off really well, and he was promoting all of these wonderful things he's involved in. And I was really jealous of him, and part of me, just like the evil part of me, wanted to just get on this podcast and very awkwardly and coldly just read through every grammatical error that he made throughout the entire podcast, and not like keep interrupting all of your questions, and just go through in a very intense way without smiling and just read through just page on page on page of grammatical errors. But not only his grammar was flawless, but also I felt terrible about that because you guys said really nice things about me and completely disarmed my my treachery that I was going to do.
Oh, so all of this was before you listened. This was you going into the podcast.
Yeah, like I was going in arms blazing.
Oh, you were you went in swinging, and you were gonna.
I tend to like to expect the worst.
You went in
of people.
swinging, and you were met with a hug.
Yeah,
and then you felt really bad afterwards.
Yeah, kind of like The Grinch. Plug for The Grinch. If you haven't seen The Grinch, it's a good movie.
Shout out Grinch.
Yeah, shout out to The Grinch.
Dr.
So
Seuss
my dad and The Grinch.
Your dad and
That's
The
what we
Grinch.
got so far. What are we talking about today?
So hi, this is Nic Noland. If you watched last episode, I said some nice things about him. He basically said, "You were very nice to me. I'm going to come on your podcast now." No. I've wanted to have Nick on for a while now. Nick is one of my best friends. He is
For a while.
For a
week. Since you started the podcast.
Yeah, since I started the podcast, he's been my best friend. He is completely clout grabbing at this point and has no actual personal relation with me outside of this podcast. But no.
Well, I noticed that you might be able to give me a platform to talk about myself.
I am providing.
And I noticed this when I met you.
Yes.
And then said, "I'm going to make friends with that guy so that one day I can be."
So you're saying this has been a 2-year plan?
Yeah.
Even though I've been trying to start a podcast with you for literal years.
Yeah. Well, I said no then because you seemed too needy.
But
now it seems like you're in a position of power, and I just wanted to get on top of you a little bit. Use you.
I've been pitching Nick the podcast idea of media hogs, 2 guys who are hogging for some media. I don't know what that means.
Just some well-cooked media.
And I wish I hadn't said that.
Yeah. Some al dente media.
Al dente media. Some medium well media.
Plug for al dente media.
Yes. But no, Nick is a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine. He graduated with the same degree as me. If you watched the last episode, you know I think very highly of him. And he is also someone who has already graduated college. So this seems like a perfect middle ground between how me and Kirsten was like X amount of years older than me and had gone through all this stuff in a very different era. Nick basically is going through all of this stuff the same time span as me, I would say. Mm-hmm. We have pretty We're a lot more similar than I think Chris and I were, so I feel like you and I can relate a lot more on.
We have way too much to talk about.
This is going to be a long episode that is cut down into 40 different TikToks that I upload all at once.
But we're not going to spend as much time as we want to, as much as we want to spend all of that time talking about our favorite presidential candidate, Williams Jennings Bryan. But we don't have time. We just don't have time, guys. I know like everyone keeps asking us to do a William Jennings Bryan episode, and we just can't. We don't have time. So we're going to mostly talk about things actually pertaining to this.
Is that the guy with the stadium in Tuscaloosa?
Yeah. Yeah, with a hat.
Yeah, the hat.
Yep.
The hat guy?
That's him.
I have no idea who Brian
Sells
Denny
insurance now.
is.
Huh?
I don't even know who Brian Denny is. Do you?
We should talk about real stuff.
All right. Well, into the episode. That's
I like that I'm keeping us on track.
It's what I do.
Yeah.
It's that the issue with is that you and I am most definitely the chaos between us two, and my job is to make it a mess. You're also eating an orange in the middle of the episode that I have to bring notice to.
I don't know what we're talking about.
That's that. All right. So I'm going to let Nick kind of guide this episode. He wanted to, we both decided that this should probably be, what worked about this podcast is that it is kind of an interview or like a time capsule of my mental state. I think that's how the first episode was introduced, is that it is just a big, long, drawn out just story of how am I breaking down near graduation.
How you're feeling.
Yeah. It's like I'm having different people be my therapist, basically.
Yeah, which is so smart rather than actually going to a licensed professional.
I did.
You should very publicly... Oh, you did?
I did.
I'm glad you did that first.
I did that first.
And then that didn't work, and then you decided I should share this with everybody. Then have some less qualified people talk about it.
My shout out therapist, Miss Debbie.
Plug for therapist.
She was wonderful. She was a wonderful woman from like ages like 15 through like 18. I think I quit going when I graduated high school because I moved, obviously. So I haven't seen her in like 3-4 years. She was really wonderful.
What was that
woman.
like? How did therapy work for you?
It was really good, actually. I think I definitely needed it because it was strictly based off my parents' divorce. I'm the oldest of my 3 siblings, so when my parents were divorced, I was 13, maybe 12, 13, around that era. I think I was probably around 12 or 13. I was the oldest. I was the only one, I think, that really was old enough to comprehend what was going on. Mm-hmm. And still, that's a very young age, I feel like, to deal with that. It's around probably not normal age, but it's just it was not a good age for me to handle all that. And I allowed myself to be shut in for a handful of years, and I think a lot of that has developed into trauma now about not fully wanting to speak my mind. And I'm really glad I'm doing this because I feel like I'm pushing out of that shell, especially because I haven't been to a therapist in a long time. I haven't had anyone to just fully break down and be like, this is how I'm feeling, and I don't really care what you're going to think about me, even though I'm paying you to not care, not judge me, basically. That's what therapists, I would say. They're meant to be a neutral ground.
Right.
But I loved it. I think I benefited. I was the only one that really latched onto it of my 3 siblings, I think, because they were young. I don't think they wanted to deal with that kind of stuff yet, or they didn't really comprehend it enough to deal with it. But I loved it. I feel like it was beneficial to me, beneficial to my personality, into being someone who was happier with who they were. And
did you go into it like wanting good out of it? Were you asking yourself questions and then just needed some guidance, or was it more led by the therapist?
I think it was more led by the therapist. I was still like a 15, 16-year-old kid who was moody and like super hormonal and like lost in all realms. And I didn't want to talk to people, I think, in my life. I remember my grandfather when I was young. He passed away shortly after my parents got divorced, my mom's father. But he asked me why I never talked to him like I used to. And it was because I really didn't know how, I guess. And I thought he was talking about why am I not talking about my parents' divorce, but he was just realizing that I had become shut off from everything, just not a very talkative person, which is weird to say now, I think everyone knowing me, I talk a lot.
Don't know what you mean.
Exactly. It's not like we're doing a talking show or anything.
Yeah, this is just an elaborate excuse to
get everything out. Yeah. But no, I think I'd walled myself off from being any kind of emotionally open with anyone close in my life, because I didn't want them to judge me. I was going to court trials with my parents and having to be the only one to talk about how I felt about my mother and or father. And
Well, you've come a super long way. Like, seriously. I mean, literally as far as you can go, I think it's like broadcasting
Yeah.
how you're feeling and being open about it, which is great. Like, and I think what's so beautiful about this idea, and I love that you're doing this, is that you're like just giving people who are likely going through the same thing, and something that I went through, and a lot of people are going to be going through at a very unique time, right after COVID, and heading into a recession and some turbulent times with World War III on the horizon potentially as well. It's just like a lot of question marks, and you're giving people a very clear window into your psyche as it devolves in real time, which is pretty cool. Which is like not only like really smart, but also like brave as well.
And I think even looking at it now, I'm glad I'm doing this weekly. I wish I was doing it a little more. It hasn't worked out exactly how I wanted it to. Had things gone the way, I think you would have been episode 5. This is going to be episode 3 now, most likely. But I can tell you now that I have my mindset on everything has changed so much since the first episode. Because now I'm really starting to be like, this is it. Especially we're in the middle of Thanksgiving break. This has been being recorded on the 22nd, I believe. It'll hopefully come out the Monday after Thanksgiving, whatever day that is, like the 27th, 28th, I don't know. Yeah. But if the clock was here right now, it would be a total of 15 days.
So you're halfway there.
Yeah, I'm from when I started. This is the middle point, and I'm really starting to realize, like, whatever I do here, whatever I do here in the next 3 weeks, that is it. It's really starting to weigh on me. And I'm not really caring about the, like, oh, am I going to get this done? Am I going to finish school? I strictly just social stuff, I think, or experience wise. Is there stuff I have not done at college? People I'm not going to see again. Like almost undoubtedly, I'm not going to see a majority of these people again.
So walk us through why it's a big deal for you to lose those things. What was college like for you from the time you arrived to now? What's it represented? Why are you going to be mourning it?
I am a person who, I think you know this, I strongly run off attention. And that's kind of going back to my parents' stuff. That is some trauma that's been dealt onto me that I don't want to get too deep into. But I really strive off recognition from other people, like affection and attention. Mm-hmm. And that has influenced my personality a ton. And I went through some stuff my senior year that kind of, like my own mistakes, but they gave me a lot of area where I felt like I was not able to be proud of myself, even though I had so many things going on. I had done some stuff that I just felt like was always held over my head. Yeah. And getting to college, I'm the only person from my high school, there were 2 people from my county, I think, that went to UWA. So nobody knew me. I showed up to campus for orientation by myself and knew nobody. I knew Kirsten on campus, and I didn't know if I'd see him that day. And I realized I had this completely blank canvas to paint myself. And going into freshman year, I was a little bit of an asshole. Arrogant wise. I think I was too proud of myself, and I've heard this from a lot of people who knew me when I was a freshman. You didn't, because someone was in France.
Yeah, someone told me you were coming to the school, and so I fled the country.
Fled the country, went and hung out with a girl that is currently my girlfriend.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about this?
We'll talk about that later. I think we'll get into that when we talk about France, because I do want to talk about France. That's something you and I have in common, and I think is a fun anecdote. We'll say what we did. But no, I was very, I don't want to say, I was arrogant. I was full of myself. And my people who cared about me, a lot of my fraternity brothers are people in my inner social circle, because that's all I had going into freshman year, really. I wasn't really in depth into the IMC community until like the end of the year. But I had to find a way to humble myself. And, it kind of came along. I mean, everyone does that typical go to college, you meet a girl, blah, 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 all that stuff. Think you're going to get in a relationship, doesn't work. And I messed with that kind of stuff, was like, all right, well, I should chill out. And of course, freshman year is going great. I mean, it's the freest year of your life I think you can have when it comes to complete freedom, no responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
which definitely you take for granted. But also, it doesn't help that my freshman year was interrupted by COVID. So we got sent home in March, I think. I don't exactly remember when the world shut. I think it was March.
So March the 13th was the big day.
Yeah. And I remember sitting in my room on a Sunday. We just got back from Pensacola, actually, with the fraternity's formal. And they
I
were
live
like,
in Pensacola. That's why Ben said
he does now live in Pensacola, and we hang out there a lot.
Mhm.
But that was my first time going to Pensacola.
My address is. I'm just kidding.
I know it, but I don't want to say it. 612 Alphalbeck Drive.
Dude.
I'll mute it in post.
Okay.
It's not his address. There's not an Alphalbeck Drive.
There actually is.
I don't know how to spell Alphalbeck.
You don't? It's embarrassing. Do you want to talk about that? Okay.
Okay.
Pride. I want to talk about pride. You mentioned you were full of yourself. You're arrogant.
Yeah.
You know, you rubbed some people the wrong way. Talk about why you were arrogant. What led to that? Because I have a feeling Ben and I are very similar. And I think this is one thing that we may have in common. It might have manifested differently between the two of us, but both of us have been at the top of our game, at least had the illusion of that around the same times in our lives. So I want to talk about what kind of has led us to that, and then also what happens when you graduate to Pride. Like,
yeah.
What place does that have in your life? And, you know, when is pride good because it's confidence, and when is pride bad because it's arrogance?
Yeah. So going into college, I had done very well academically. I had scored a 32 on my ACT, which was incredible for me because
That's a new state record.
No, it's not a new state record, but thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I done very well academically. I had accidentally been awarded, or not been awarded, but I accidentally won valedictorian of my high school. Like, I think I expressed that I'm not very academic as in like I care a lot about school or try very hard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just.
Yeah, you're a total blazing nerd.
Yeah, I am lucky that I am good at taking tests, and I have enough intelligence. I think that it's led me a long way, and I've kind of ridden on that for a while.
Yeah, things come easy.
Yeah, and it's not challenging. Most basic school stuff that you have to learn, I don't think was very challenging for me ever. But it also, because it was not challenging, it was not motivating or desirable to do it. So I didn't put much effort into it. I put in what was required because my mom's always had very high standards for me grade-wise academically. So I obviously engraved that. I was like, I have to hit this quota. But yeah, valedictorian, had done that. I had essentially gotten my college completely paid for by myself through scholarships and extra stuff I had gone out of the way and done. I was getting college paid for by myself. So that was like where I felt like it was worth it. Like I felt like I deserved a bit of pride in myself. Other parts of it, and a large portion of it still, is completely just insecurity of, I guess I could say this. I've kind of danced around this topic a little bit. I don't have a great relationship with my father. And that's where a lot of my attention issues come from, because I didn't get that majority of my teenage years, and from him at least. And I think that part of me wanted to do so good and be so proud of myself to prove that I didn't need it, didn't need that recognition, didn't need that attention from him. And I've instead completely let it drive me for the past few years. And that's just part of me. It's not like something think I can escape or just bury down. I think I have to acknowledge it's a part of me.
Do you think it's something you can find a replacement for?
How so?
I mean, I'm asking you. I mean, is there something else in life that drives you or that fulfills you in a way that makes you want to continue to do great? I very much enjoy entertaining people in the sense of, I have a very comedical personality, I would say. I don't always take things super seriously. And especially in situations when I shouldn't, I definitely try to make it funny because I think it's what I used to cope, I guess, when I was going through stuff. So I can acknowledge that I've always gone with this philosophy that I
life sucks. Life is very brutal, very rough, and very unforgiving against you. But it has moments of really moments that you can escape from it, I guess. And that's what I want to provide for people, are moments that they can escape, that they can use to escape. And that's why I've always done this kind of stuff. I've always like this. And I think there's a bit of attention to it too. Like, you can't do this type of media.
Yeah, it's something for you, something for them.
Yeah. Like, I have to acknowledge that, like, I do enjoy the attention. I enjoy people being like, oh, I love this, blah, blah, blah. Even though I take it weirdly, I'm not the best at receiving the, oh my gosh, I love it. I'm like, oh, thank you. It really means a lot to me. But I'm also like,
No, Ben, you are the best at receiving compliments of anyone I've ever met.
am I really?
No. But you took that one pretty well. So
Thanks,
that's actually
dog.
a guess.
But also I do.
But you are. I haven't noticed if you're good or bad at it.
I think in a different medium, not this podcast, that is kind of based around me. I feel like there's a bit of attention to it. Also a bit of wanting to help people. But I used to do a lot of, I talked with Kirsten about this. I used to do a lot of YouTube stuff, or a lot of making dumb videos that I thought were entertaining, because I think that's where I went in my teenage years, was YouTube. And it's a very easy way to create entertainment for people. And I always thought that if I could be that escape for somebody, then I'm doing it right. If I can make someone laugh, and if I can make someone forget about all the shit that's going on, I think that is something I really enjoy and something I want to do. And I think that's a good idea for a replacement.
Right.
But also, I don't know. That's something that to come to terms with that and to not let it drive me is that's an arrow, or like an issue that I wish I did have actual therapy for now.
So I think a mistake that you can make pretty easily here, and a mistake that I have made in my life, is looking for passion as a drive. Mm-hmm. It's a really distinctly American thing that we want to be passionate about what we do, and it's a noble thing to pursue your passions and your goals. Yeah. Passion's overrated. I don't want to throw water on anybody's expressions that are poorly used, but passion goes away. Motivation goes away. Like, you start a new diet, or you say, I'm going to master this skill or anything like that. If you're relying on only the times that you're passionate or that you're really feeling it to get it done, you're not going to. Discipline is a huge deal there. Yeah. And so I know, like, I had the same kind of thing as you, where a lot of stuff came pretty easily to me, and I was at the top of whatever, and I was getting accolades left and right in high school. To zoom out just a little bit, and to have both of us humbled down, we come from insanely small towns.
Yes.
And then not only that, but we also went to a relatively modest university.
Oh,
like we chose to pursue a major that we both loved and do something that we're really excited about and learning, and also that wouldn't break the bank, which I feel like we should be proud of the fact that we did that, because that's kind of a humble decision as well, to not say, I deserve to go to this school because I'm the smartest or whatever.
No, I think both of us, I know because you, if you want to explain, you can explain this if you want to. Nick was a Tutwiler student, which is a very prestigious award that they took away from the university the year before I got there. But Nick was able to be in it, which is. I
got 2 of them.
Yeah. What?
I'm kidding. I was just trying to make you jealous.
No. I am jealous, except for the fact that you had to live on campus all 4 years. I'm not jealous of that part. But you want to explain what Tutwiler is? Just brief.
It's just it's the Willy Wonka of university. They used to give it to 5 students a year, and it just pays for your tuition, room and board, a laptop, and study abroad. It covers all that, and then a little bit on top of that as well. So super, super lucky to have gotten that. But I think it was just continuing to get a lot of those sorts of rewards for work. Put in a little bit of work, and of course you're a big fish in a small pond. You put in a little bit of work, you even show that you might care, and people give you all of this stuff, and you think that's never going to end. And so if your motivation really is attention, or for people to think that you're whatever's important to you, smartest, funniest, most athletic, whatever, that's going to go away, because at some point you're going to meet people who are way out of your league. And if you're not playing with people who are way out of your league, then you're not improving. If you're not improving, then, you know, you're going to get pretty listless and lost in life. So that's something I would definitely lead with, because as you graduate, like, take it from one super wise 24-year-old dude, freshly 24. When I graduated, I think what I was expecting is, so you know how like you finish middle school, and you're like, once you're at the top of middle school, you're in like 7th grade, and you're like, I'm at the top of middle school. I'm the oldest kid here. I'm the coolest. I'm the best on the basketball team. Like, whatever it is, I'm great. And then you get into junior high, and then you're like the runt again, and you're getting bullied. You're like, what's happening? I was so cool like 8 seconds ago. I'm so confused. And then you like process that, and then the same thing happens in high school, but a little bit more. And the same thing happens in college a little bit more. Both of us, I think, were able to skip all that. Like, I didn't have, I mean, I had like, I wasn't like crazy popular or whatever. But I had a, you were.
No, I was that guy.
Fantastic.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah.
I'll speak to my high school for me. I think all of it. I was always someone who wanted to be like the leader of my friend group, I guess, or be the one that always was in charge of it all.
Right. And
I think that was I was always confident with that. I think I still am now. I feel like I'm well known on campus I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I am. It's not a hard campus to be well known, like you said, UWA.
Then you just go outside and scream.
Yeah, and then everyone's like, "Oh, look, it's that guy," and then you just are known for forever.
Screaming Ben.
Yeah. But I think all I've ever cared about is being important to my group of friends, and I think as long as I was popular in that sense of being like, well, liked by the people I admire, I feel like that was always enough for me. But also, it's not when your friend group is like a quarter of the school.
That matters a lot more as you get older. The people that you love and actually spend time with, you know, big thing that changes right after college, of course, is you're used to hanging out with all your friends. You mentioned this in the first episode, and that just goes away. Yeah. Like, you're not going to be knocking on your neighbor's door for midnight Waffle House anymore. Instead, you're going to be maybe calling your friend that you knew in college maybe once every 6 months. And both of you are going to be so busy with work and everything else going on. And I think people, I underestimated how hard it is to like remember to clean out my fridge or get groceries or things in that category. Those sorts of things like take a little bit of adjustment. And getting into your actual life and paying your rent and paying your insurance and doing well at your job is going to be the most important thing in the world to you, more than likely. So you start getting focused on all of these things, and it's not bad, but you kind of just slowly drift away from some of those relationships. I try to keep them as strong as I can. You know, anyone who's close to me knows they can always reach out, and, you know, if something's really important, we can always talk about it.
And I feel like we've done a very, I feel like our friend group has done a relatively good job at that.
I think I've convinced you guys that I still care about you.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's definitely hard to make that happen. Especially you're being the only one really that's moved away. That's like,
yeah. Well, it'll be harder like the longer we go, for sure.
Especially when I'm going north and everyone that is currently local is south of the middle part of the state. So it is something I'm scared of. It's something I'm definitely not looking forwards to, is because it's how I was with high school. I completely disassociate. I tried keeping it a handful of relationships that I liked, or friendships that I liked, that I thought were important, and I kind of still have them now. But have I seen these people in 2 years? If I'm going home and I am choosing, say I'm going home this week, had I spent this entire week home, I would have seen max 2 people that I went to high school with that are still, I consider 2 of my best friends. And
right, which is enough, you know.
It is.
If those are people you care about, that's plenty. And you're not going to have time maybe to pour into those relationships. So you just get more selective. Instead of spending 10 cents worth of attention on 100 people, you're going to spend $100 dollars worth of attention on one person or 2 people, so that's a huge thing. And then as far as pride goes, because we were talking about that, I think, so we were saying it's like this roller coaster. So you start down. Like middle school, you go up and then you start down, and then you up and then down. College, unless you're going into grad school, which is a brilliant method of escape, and I commend any of you for choosing this method. But going to the bottom again, it's like a very far drop. It's like way further than anyone tells you, because you might have just been the person, like for you it was the magazine, for me it was the agency, who's like calling the shots and being creative and making cool decisions and leading things. But as soon as you start a job, I don't care how smart you are, you're going to be at the bottom of the food chain again, and you're just going to do whatever your boss tells you to do. I was an emo monkey for like 3 months when I graduated. I'm still kind of a glorified emo monkey. But I was fortunate to work at a pretty cool startup and get to do some creative stuff as well. But a lot of that pride just has to go away. You have to be like, whatever needs to get done, I'm just going to get it done. You know, really cool quote by Truman is, you can get anything accomplished that you want. You can accomplish anything you want so long as you don't mind who gets the credit. And if you really embrace that and you just like hit every day with whatever fulfills you, not what you're passionate about, not whatever the dopamine is signaling at you, like do more of this thing, but like whatever you are fulfilled by and feel at peace with every day, and can do this and can do it around these people. If you have all of those things figured out, you are really, really ahead of the curve. And it takes a long time to figure those out. It's all trial and error. You got to kind of apply some, you kind of got to science the shit out of your life a little bit to just say, this is working, this isn't working. I have this hypothesis that, you know, doing this is going to make me happy, and then truly evaluate every once in a while, is this actually making me happy? Is this worth my time? And slowly improve your life. One of the biggest things for me is just like, let go of the pride. Don't even worry about being the best person there. Just try to figure out how you can solve some more problems. And if you're doing that, I mean, that makes me truly happy. And if you're able to do that, I mean, you've really got nothing else to worry about. The rest is easy.
Yeah, and I think it's a little weird for me because I'm not like, I don't know if I'm hitting that curve yet because of how weird I'm about to, like, everything I'm about to do post-graduation is about to be very different with going back to see Mile and everything. It's completely, I don't feel that fear yet of like the whole job stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'm not focusing on it. I think when I come back from France, I will be very much in the mindset of,
you're like postponing it.
Yeah, I'm just pushing.
You're grad school.
I'm grad school. I'm like taking like a 6 months of like just like a break.
Yeah.
I'm taking a gap,
which is great.
semester.
I mean, you're graduating early. You should take that time.
Yeah.
That's what college is. I mean, it's exploring and learning.
I'm pushing all that stuff back. Like even like finding an apartment, having to worry about all the bills and stuff like that. I'm pushing everything back still.
Right.
And
you're three illegitimate children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
You've got those three. Oh, I'm not supposed to mention those.
Oh,
sorry.
No, they're legitimate.
They are.
They matter. They matter.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Well, the government doesn't. I don't know. We don't talk about that, but they matter to me, and they're legitimate.
I don't pay no mind to the government.
Yeah. No.
Cool.
We don't talk about that. Government's in the promo.
So you are worried about what moment you graduate? What happens? What do you feel?
Wow. Everything I've just done for the past 3.5 years is over. Like this chapter of my life is complete. Is just book shut. That's it. I'm moving away from everything. I'm going home for a month and a half, which is going to be interesting.
What are you excited about?
I am excited to be able to choose how I want my day to go for the most part. Given like the flexibility of my work, I'm very much excited to be like, excited to be in control of myself in that regard, because I do kind of get to control when I work. I'm lucky enough in that regard. Right. So I'm excited to be able to control my day and be able to.
You're going to get a lot more organized.
I need to.
You're going to.
Yeah.
Because you have to.
Yeah, I can't waste my day away. But I don't know. I've been in a rut for these past 2-3 months now where I feel guilty taking any time for myself because I feel like I'm always behind.
Oh no, you can't ever feel bad about that.
I would like to be caught up to a point where I don't feel that. But like, I feel like I'm in a spot where I'm taking on so much extra stuff for like an idea of one, I just like helping people, but also I like money and I'm not going to turn it down. I'm also really bad at turning it down. I feel like Like, I feel like if I have the ability to help somebody, why shouldn't I? Even if it's going to make my life a little more stressful. Like,
Yeah, but it's the oxygen mask thing. It's
I don't know what that means.
On an airplane.
Oh, help yourself before you
help yourself before you help other people. If your mental health isn't there, like that's like bare minimum. Like that's like second level. You know, you got food, shelter, water. Second is mental health.
Yeah.
I mean, and really, once you're in a committed relationship as well, like that is also really, really, really high up there. You know,
dude,
buddy passes all the way.
Dude, trying to make a 7-hour distance relationship fit around a normal day.
Right.
So I couldn't do it if I had a normal 9 to 5.
So those things, it's okay to put it this way.
Yeah.
That those things are your priorities.
Mm-hmm.
In your mental health and how you're able to enjoy life. I mean, if you're not able to at least trick yourself into being happy to work, and I mean this because sometimes you really do. Like, I really enjoy my job. I've enjoyed all of the jobs that I've had, but some days it's like I really don't want to sit down and grind it out for 8 hours today. Mm-hmm. And you just have to, I mean, you can either grind it out and have the mentality that this is a grind and that's rewarding in its own right, or you can just trick yourself into being happy about it.
Do you want to hear how bad I am at this point of getting stuff done?
Yeah.
I don't know if they just heard the weird noise I just made, but I'm sorry if you did. I'm going to hopefully cut that out. Probably will forget.
You should edit in an even weirder noise.
Even weirder noise? Yeah. Okay, we'll think about that. 2 times this week, I have been hit with the text of, hey, how are you doing? Like, just checking in. How have you done this? And I haven't done anything on this project. Say, like, I'm talking about freelance stuff. Haven't done anything about this. And then I sit down there for 2 hours and do it. And it would have taken me 2 hours a week ago. And I would have done the same amount of time and finished it probably, what I needed to do.
Yeah.
But I've just put it off because I feel like there's so much other stuff going on. And I do think it's a sense of also I've been trying to live very socially and not, like, talk myself out of doing stuff. Like, I've been very hesitant to say no to doing stuff this semester because I don't feel like I'm going to get those opportunities again when I leave. Like, just completely like, hey, do you want to go out and do this? Like, it's completely college things that are dumb and don't actually add any benefit other than just enjoyment. But
they do add benefit, and it's important to see it as that. You're doing it for a reason. You're doing it because it is college and because those are the last times you're going to be able to have those experiences. You're basically spending your time like it's money. You're just saying, this is important to me right now, and it's valuable. And when you're doing those things, it's important to realize I'm spending time on this. This is important to me. And I don't need to feel guilty about it because I'm not doing work, you know?
Yeah. Things
that are good for you, work is only one of them. Work is great for you. Exercise and eating right is great for you. Love and relationships are great for you. But self-awareness and alone time and reflectiveness, those are also important to you.
I have a lot of that, dog.
Yeah.
You know how much time you know how much time of my life I spend alone just for the sake of... I can't comprehend people like you who have a normal relationship where you just have the ability to see her majority of when you want to.
Dude, I'm so lucky right now. This is the first person near me geographically that I've dated since high school.
And we had
early high school.
We had we hung out in the fraternity the other, like, last Thursday after initiation with the new guys, and we hit the point where we were all hanging out. But then it was like, all right, we kind of want to open this up. Everyone invites their girlfriend over, and I'm like, that's crazy that they can do that. They can just be like, I want to see my girlfriend now. Come on, and I'm just like,
yeah,
I'm so alienated to the
Uber
feeling
Eats
of it now.
Girlfriend edition.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Except for the eating part, you don't like eat a person. It's rude and illegal.
Cannibalism is popping nowadays. It's popped up.
I haven't seen Dahmer. I didn't watch that.
I didn't either. I don't watch anything on Netflix. I'll be honest with you.
Okay. Well, so there it is, guys. What do you recommend instead?
Andor. If you are any little bit interested in Star Wars, and you probably haven't been a fan of the past Star Wars shows on Netflix, or not on Netflix, on Disney Plus, like Book of Boba Fett or Obi-Wan, if you're kind of let down, Andor is the best thing that Disney has produced for Star Wars after Mandalorian Season 1.
Sweet.
It is an incredible show.
Guys, funnel some more money Disney's direction.
Yeah.
They are hurting.
I don't pay for the subscription, so it doesn't matter.
There you go.
But find a friend who has Disney Plus, watch Andor.
Look in the comments for Ben's credentials to log into the Disney Plus he's borrowing.
I think it's Caleb's.
Okay. Yeah,
It
Caleb's
might be-
Disney Plus
I'll give you
password is going to
everyone
be in
wants
the
Caleb's Disney
comments.
Plus. Use the account.
You just KIV'd that.
That's hilarious. Use the account with the BB-8 icon because that is the one that is mine, and we can watch together. But yeah, I feel like I've been very alienated to like what a normal relationship is. Like not normal. I'm normal in the sense of just being physically together. Because I think at college you have the ability to basically live together. And we had that for a little bit of time. And I'm so that's
For 6 months of the relationship.
Yeah, 6 months. Or not, I'd say really like 3 because like the first 3 is still us getting to know each other. It was a very like rushed relationship. But I'd say towards the like end of the 3 months we were together 24/7, and that's what I'm looking forward to. I think if anything I'm looking forward to the most is getting to just live a mundane and boring life, because I think that's another part of it that I'll talk to after this is just I'm scared of being bored. Because I know a lot of my time after graduation I'm gonna be alone until I can get her here. But I'm so excited to just be with my girlfriend and live life. I'm fine with working it. I'm fine with just spending my day. Because she works a real 9 to 5 or whatever they work in France, the 9 to 7 sometimes. But I'm so excited. She gets home late some days. I don't know, man.
Oh, that's not France. That's finance.
Oh, yeah.
They sound the same, but it's different.
But I'm really excited just to be able to live my life with her right now. Because I think I'm tired of just being alone. I'm tired of living my normal life. And then I just get to spend every day after 5 o'clock alone. And I think that's another reason I've been so social is because I know if I am fully capable of sitting in my room and doing nothing all week. And I might be able to entertain myself, but I know that I will easily slip back into a depressive just hole. And I've been trying my best to be super sociable. We talked about that earlier. No, we didn't. We talked about personable. Whatever. But I've tried my best to just push myself to do more. Little bit for the sake of I feel like it's beneficial for my mental health to be around people. Not always. I will say there are some times where I have incredible times with my friends.
Yeah.
Like we went out for my birthday on Sunday night. I had a wonderful time. Everyone, that's all of my best friends there. It was a great time. Went bowling, went mini golfing, whatever. But at the end of the night, I'm gonna be like, that was great, but it's still like an 8 in my head because it could have been like a 10 if she was there.
Yeah.
And it's always just
that's kind of beautiful in a way.
I felt like that since it was like I know I'm gonna be okay. I know I'm still gonna have fun, whatever.
Right.
But it's like all of the fun capped off at like a 7 or an 8.
Right.
There's no way to hit that peak of having a 10 again, unless she's here with me. It's how I felt on every time we go on a trip with all of our friends. Anytime I do any kind of special holiday stuff or with my family, like stuff that you would expect to enjoy with your significant other.
That's great.
I have to understand it, especially this year because we won't be together for any of the big holidays. I have to just understand that I'm going to have to enjoy this. It's wrong for me to waste it and not enjoy it, but I know that it could be so much better if I was with her, and I'm excited for that. I'm excited to be able to live that kind of lifestyle that I'm not able to while I'm here. Especially in school. I think I'm ready for just to have that restriction off of us and we're able to be together again. That's been the driving force for a while. But also, I don't know if you're asking again, like what I'm scared of, and I mentioned it, is that I am really just not prepared to be bored. I feel like the opportunity for me to do stuff.
What scares you about being bored?
I'm really bad about if I'm not in a good mood or if I'm getting bored, I just don't do anything. I just sit there and just kind of like scroll on TikTok or I don't feel like if I have a dead weekend and I at school and there's nothing going on, everyone's gone home or whatever, I will spend 75% of that weekend being completely unproductive.
Yeah.
And I don't flourish in that kind of environment where I won't feel motivated.
You don't have pressure on you from outside forces to tell you do this thing,
or even just a social environment to do it in. And I think I'm kind of scared of that too because I'm working remote and I don't have that social aspect of a job. I think you might feel that same way. I don't know if you do or not.
Yeah, I mean that was a big adjustment for me too, going remote for sure. I mean all of my jobs so far. I mean now I can definitively say I'm way more productive than I would be in person, because I kind of just learned discipline extra fast.
Yeah.
I had discipline in the sense that I had like an improvisational discipline. Like if something were planned in advance by someone else, I would be there and I would do it as good as I possibly could. And I'd be reasonably prepared. But I didn't have real discipline. I think I had like whatever it took to get a 90%, 90.00 was the grade that I wanted. And I got a 4.0 in college, but it was because like there were even some exams that I took for professors I won't name that but that very well. That I would know how many questions I could miss and still get a 90%.
Oh,
and I would select like a couple to get wrong just to see if I could make my grade like at 90% and not like a 94%.
Oh, dude, that's where my whole valedictorian thing in high school. If you looked at probably grade point at like the average grades I had, straight 90s. I was hitting the bare minimum.
I didn't get it. There was a girl in my class in high school who's like, I need a 98 on this because if I'm gonna get the 96 average because that's an A+. I was like, they are the same.
Doesn't
on your
matter.
transcript.
They all are 4s.
Yeah,
and that's all you got to worry about. And
come hang out with us. Yeah. What are you doing?
The 100% kind of people. I'm not one of those. I don't think I'll ever be. But
they scare me.
I feel like
I like them and respect them, but they scare me.
Yeah, no, I can't understand it.
I respect them because I fear them.
Yeah. And I don't feel like I have that discipline. I feel like I have a lot of fake discipline where I'm like, oh, I have to do this, so I'm going to.
Yeah.
But I don't.
It's just decide that you want to be disciplined. Not that you have to, not that it's like this thing that you like need to do, not that it's eating your greens or whatever. Just that like it's going to open up your schedule and make you feel free, like truly free during the times that you are free. Because I used to have that same guilt all the time when I'm like, I could be working. But that was because when I was working, I was slacking or like finding ways to be more creative. And I think once I let go of my own, because we're both creatives as well.
Yeah. Once
I let go of the notion that creative people are loose and free and we can't be restrained by rules are bad for us, I learned that was actually just like fundamentally wrong. Like structure makes more creativity.
So Greg has a saying, and it's how he put me and Shelby when we were working on the magazine. He said there are 4 types of people. There are the circles, which are at the bottom tier of the pyramid, and they are the people that just do the grunt work. They're doing, they're working under everybody. They're doing the stuff no one wants to do, and they're taking orders. I feel like I should point this out now. I apologize for everyone that has had to deal with me. I woke up sick this morning, so my nose is running constantly, and it is annoying as I'll get out. I have to keep taking pauses for it. Sorry about that. But back to it. There are circles. Then there are squares. Squares are the people who look over the circles. They're called like the moms of the organization, whatever. And then you have the triangle at the top. Triangle is the boss, the person who's calling the shots, doing this, whatever. He called Shelby a triangle. And then he said the 4th person is a squiggly line, which is me, who works outside of it, outside of the structure, outside of the pyramid. And I'm just doing my own thing.
Yeah.
And I need to become a triangle for the sense of what you just said. I do think there is an idea that
squiggles make the best triangles at the end of it. Because they can, maybe there's a flaw in the triangle and the squiggly line will know.
Because you can see it from the outside. Right. But you can't do.
But you have to make yourself be one.
Yeah.
You have to make yourself be one. Also, I love that the shape analogies. But I also do want to make it really clear that like they are not types of people. Sometimes they're just stages in your career.
Yeah. Okay.
So like you're going to start off a circle and it's going to be infuriating to you because you're a squiggly line and you're like, okay, I'm a squiggly line, but I should at least be a square, if not a triangle.
Yeah.
But you don't deserve that. Like you won't have earned it for a long time, and that's totally okay. And the longer you spend actually working in your career, like you'll be more and more okay with that. And then you'll be the best triangle out there. It'll be like one of those triangles, like an isosceles triangle, which is the superior triangle.
I'm an equilateral kind of guy. I like
They are nice. I do like how they fit into each other.
Yeah, they're like perfect.
Yeah, they're cool. But isosceles are like a spear.
You want to talk about our worldly experiences a little bit? Give a little background on that, just because I feel like it is something in how it's developed us. I say.
Sure.
How it's changed everything.
Yeah. Is this kind of the last thing we're gonna wrap it up?
I think this is a good part to end it on. But yeah, do you have any advice any last advice for me, for people in my position, advice you would have given yourself when you were graduating that you wish you had known?
just take it easy. You don't got to do it all at one time. Just when you graduate, decide what's important to you. And if you go into every day saying, how can I love better? How can I show the people around me that I love them? How can I show the people that I care about that I love them? And then how can I show love in some smaller ways, like whether through my work or just people that I see, all throughout the day, and be really conscious and think carefully about how you're spending your time. I mean, be as reflective as possible. Reach out to people that you respect and get as much counsel as you can, because the early years of your career, like, you really need it. Even if you don't think you do, I promise you that you do. It will always help. And respect old people, because they've got some good ideas. This is a plug for old people.
Shout out old people.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure to get that in there.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate you coming on. This has been very wonderful.
Thanks for coming on. Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for having me on this wonderful podcast. What's the name of the podcast again?
There's a month left podcast.
Yeah.
It's
we're almost there,
one more month podcast.
There you go.
That's what it is. With Ben Shagan.
We're throwing this image up right now. I hope I have this. The same party we met his girlfriend. I walk in. This is on a projector on the wall for everyone to see. Granted, there are like 6-7 people at this party who know who I am. Yeah, have met me before, and you have this displayed on your wall when I walk in.
Yeah, I thought it was funny.
It was incredible. I loved it.
Yeah, everyone thought the goal was that people would be like, "Wait, you're alive?" I've always wanted that reaction.
I got that.
You go to a new party, you got that? Someone walked up to you and
I don't
like,
think anyone actually thought
you were alive.
I don't think anyone thought you would actually put.
A
your
fake rest in peace sign. Yeah, in memoriam sign.
Memoriam sign. I think a real one would be crazy, considering it has like the Walmart symbol on it. And also, my death was like
in the future.
Yeah, still not happened yet, which is scary.
I'm actually kind of nervous for that day. Because I wasn't superstitious at the time, but now I'm incredibly superstitious.
I'm a little superstitious.
I'm not actually.
I don't care. I don't think I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Die. If I die, cool.
I am afraid of no ghosts.
Yeah. But I will say, being friends with you makes me very confident that I'm going to be okay. And you are one of those people that I feel like if I am freaking out or if I am going to, if I feel like I'm going to lose it all, having a conversation with you is incredibly helpful. And
oh man, I mean, so much.
I really appreciate it.
It makes me so happy.
Admire to be like you. Although for being someone with that, I feel like it's so organized with their life. You are an incredibly messy person.
Yeah.
And I don't understand where that part of you comes from.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm naturally that way, and I fight it.
You lose that battle, buddy.
Huh?
You lose that battle.
Yeah, I lose my phone probably 6 times a day.
Exactly.
And I use it constantly.
It's crazy.
I've probably sent 4,000 disorganized emails today.
Yeah.
But I still lose it.
Your professionalism is...
I'm disorganized in my personal life. My professional life is I am on the ball.
Yeah, which is a
so
crazy
weird.
balance to have.
Yeah, but it's nice because you can chill after you get off work and stuff. But anyway, yeah, that means it means the world to me that you say that. I'm so grateful to have you as a friend as well. And I hope we were able to accomplish some pretty cool stuff and have some fulfilling and wonderful lives.
I'm excited for the future.
Yeah,
I very much
am too.
We got this. We're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to say to the children?
You're 3. You're 3.
We've been so long before this aired. We were just ripping bits at each other, and I would love for us to host a comedy podcast someday. This is not really the feel of this, but before we were. I feel like we're funny enough for something that's entertaining for me, and that's all I care about.
Okay, yeah. If it's just a podcast for your own pleasure,
and I was like, it's gonna be sorry to be serious in this, and we held it together until right there. The children, and it was my joke, which is the worst part that I died.
Yeah, I don't even. We'll have to do the slow-mo replay to see who laughed first at your joke.
It was your reaction of not knowing where to go with it.
I thought there was more to this sentence.
No,
the children, your 3 illegitimate children.
I was gonna say I didn't have a plan. I was just gonna hope it rolled off my tongue.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you have anything you want to shout out? Anything you got? You got anything you want to be like, hey?
Yeah. Check out my dad. Also, no, actually though, look into when you're donating to a charity, because you need to donate with a charity. This is a big thing as you go into life. You need to be conscious about the money. If you are in the United States and you make over $50,000 a year, you're in the top 90, I think 4%, 95%, or maybe even 96% of people financially throughout the whole world. And if you gave 10% of your income, it would only knock you down like 1 or 2%. So please be aware of the fact that you are incredibly blessed and wealthy. If you're listening to this from the U.S. or a house, or if you are set at all, if that's you, please donate and be conscious about where you're donating to. That's another thing to think about. So I'll plug that.
That
and
was
then
the best plug I think anyone can ever have, is just donate to charity.
yeah, I don't really have anything else to promote. Donate to someone else's charity. That's really good. And let's see what else. Color TV. That's gonna take off.
Color TV?
Plug for Color TV.
I think TV is going back to 2D.
Yeah, probably.
But thank you again
Do you
to
have a
Nick's dad.
sign?
What?
Oh, never mind.
Do I have a song?
I was gonna ask if you had a sign off, and then I realized you're probably doing it.
I was going to say thank you to Nick's dad very much. Thank you for all the help you set us up. We have to show him at least this part.
Yeah.
But thank you very much. This has been hopefully the best sounding episode, minus the fact that I'm sick. And I hope that this is still recording. We haven't checked this, and it's been over an hour. The past 30 minutes may have been just black. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Nick, for coming on. Shout out to Nick's dad for letting us use his office, his audio equipment, these microphones, this telephone, all of the above.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all as always. The feedback on the show has been crazy. I appreciate all of you that watch it and spend your time listening to the downfall of my mental health.
Yeah.
And
Cheers.
we got 2 or 3 more weeks left. It's gonna go great.
It's gonna go fantastically.
All right. Well, hope you're all having a wonderful day whenever you're watching this, and I will see you next time.
Yeah. I will never see you again.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Keep moving. Don't stop.